Asema, we hang our harps upon the willows in the midst of it. So nimewambia, this is the season of the great catch, ni a season ya another opportunity. So it is not a season for us to hang our praise garments. Bwana asifiwe. Hawa walisema, how can we sing the song of the Lord in captivity? Walisema, wimbo wa Bwana, it was a song we sang during harvest, we sang during sacrifice. And how can you require us to sing the song of our God in captivity? But even in our captivity, we shall praise ourselves out. Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe. Therefore, it is not a season for hanging our praise garment. Tunaona Yesu alipokuja kwa Peter, he was washing his net. Na unajua si mara mingi tukifua nguo tunazihang. So maybe hata alikuwa ameanza kuhang zile alikuwa ameosha za kwanza zikauke. But Jesus comes, anamwambia ni ukweli umeosha hata neti, but go back, launch into the deep. So it is a season of going back. Hiyo biashara ambayo ulianza na ikakaa ni kama ilianguka, Mungu anaposema rudi tena, tutarudi pale. Hatutasema Bwana hapana, nipe ingine. Wale waliniona kwa mto mara ya kwanza, wale waliniona kwa hii biashara na wakaona nimefunga milango, watasema nini? Hata Peter, I'm sure wale ambao walikuwa nao walishindwa. What has happened? Has Peter lost his mind? Going back to the sea in daytime, na usiku wote hakuna kitu wamepata. So wengine huenda wasikuelewe, seeing you going back to that business and you tried and failed and you are coming back, unaambia Mungu amesema nirudi. Sometimes you may not understand. Sometimes even your close relatives may not understand. Bwana asifiwe. So, but it is not a season ya kuhang your praise garment. It is a season. Psalms 126 verse 1 inasema, Psalms 126, when the Lord brought back the captivity of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter and our tongue with singing. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. Bwana asifiwe. Ni among the nation ndio wanasema the Lord has done great things for them. Tusipokubali kuhang our garments of praise, tusipokubali kukuwa discouraged in this season of the great catch, tusipokubali that our toil it will discourage, we shall sing a new song. Our mouth will be filled with laughter. Na the nation ndio watakiri kusema that this is the doing of the Lord. Wale ambao wamekuwa kumok wanakuuliza where is your God? How tu ndio watakiri waseme this is the doing of the Lord. Their God has remembered them. Bwana asifiwe. Christ is the game changer. Whatever you have tried and failed, let Christ take charge. It is a new morning. And the Bible says that joy comes in the morning. So no matter how hard the night has been, this is our morning. Bwana asifiwe. I am here to declare to you, haijalishi usiku umekuwa mgumu namna gani. In the book of Psalms, chapter number 30, Biblia inasema, Psalms chapter number 30 verse 5. For his anger is but for a moment, his favor is for life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Verse 11 inasema, you have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have put off my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness. Bwana asifiwe. That is what the Lord does when he puts away your shame, when he brings a mourning into your life, he turns away your mourning into dancing. Bwana asifiwe. So haijalishi usiku umekuwa mgumu kiasi gani, haijalishi ni hali ngumu kiasi gani umepitia. Peter alikuwa amepigwa na upepo ya usiku, alikuwa amepitia baridi ya usiku, lakini alisema, I have toiled the whole night, but at your word. So at the word of the Lord, usikubali the experience of the night. Usikubali the past experience to hinder you from experiencing Christ in your life. Na tumetoka the season of Easter and tumesema Christ is risen. Na alipokuwa msalabani in the book of John, alisema it is finished. So that toil ambayo umetoil, excuse me, when he said it is finished, it is finished. Si season ya kutoil again, ni season ya kufuata what the Lord is saying. When he says launch into the deep, usiargue na yeye. Petro alijaribu kuargue kumwambia, lakini I like the way he concluded, but at your word. Bwana asifiwe. This time going back to the sea, aliambia Yesu, this time going back to the sea, sirudi juu ya experience, sirudi juu ni lazima ni fish leo, ninarudi because of your word. Bwana asifiwe. So in that your second opportunity in life, you are not going because you've gained experience. Unajua saa ingine wanasema that experience is the best teacher. Si ati ni juu umefunzwa ndio unarudi kwa huo mto, si ndio umefunzwa ndio unarudi kwa hiyo bahari. We are going back because of the word of the Lord. Bwana asifiwe. And when Christ is involved, when Christ, hapa Petro alikuwa ametoil alone, but now Christ comes and tells him where to strike. Bwana asifiwe. In our lowest moment, God comes and turns our situations around. When you see the case of David alipokuja akakuta Zigra imechomwa, it was a lowest moment for him. When you read in 1 Samuel chapter number 29 from verse 1, alikuwa anaenda na the Amalekites to war, no, the Philistines to war, lakini wakamfukuza. The Afek akasema huyu ndiye waliimba ati Saul has killed 1,000 and David has killed 10,000. How are we sure that if he goes with us, hata turn against us? The Philistines walikuwa naenda kupigana na Saul. So Daudi amefukuzwa kutoka kwenda vita na the Philistine. Hii ni the season alikuwa amehepa from Saul na alikuwa ni kama amejiunga na Wafilisti. So they are going against Saul. And David is going with them. But on their way amefukuzwa. Then coming back, yani umefukuzwa kutoka kwenda na wengine war. Then in chapter number 30 of that 1 Samuel, let us read chapter number 30. 1 Samuel. Then the prince of the Philistines, 30, 1 Samuel 30, number 1. First Samuel 30. Now it happened when David and his men came to Ziklag on the third day that the Amalekites had invaded the south, and Ziklag attacked Ziklag and burned it with fire, and had taken captive the women and those who were there, from small to great. They did not kill anyone, but carried them away and went their way. So David and his men came to the city, and there it was, burned with fire, and their wives, their sons, and their daughters had been taken captive. Then David and the people who were with him lifted up their voices and wept until they had no more power to weep. And David's two wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelite and Abigail the widow of Nabal the Carmelite, had been taken captive. Now David was greatly distressed, for the people spoke of stoning him, because the soul of the people was grieved, every man for his son and his daughter. But David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. Then David said to Abiathar the priest, Ahimelech's son, please bring the ephod here to me. And Abiathar brought the ephod to David. So David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I pursue this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered him, Pursue, for you shall surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. So David went, he and the 600 men who were with him, and came to the brook Besor, where those stayed who were left behind. But David pursued, he and 400 men, for 200 stayed behind, who were so weary and that they could not cross the brook Besor. Then they found an Egyptian in the field and brought him to David, and they gave him bread and he ate, and they left him drink water. And they gave him a piece of a cake of figs and 2 clusters of raisins. So when he had eaten, his strength came back to him, for he had eaten no bread nor drank water for 3 days and 3 nights. Then David said to him, To whom do you belong? And where are you from? And he said, I am a young man from Egypt, servant of the Amalekite, and my master left me behind, because 3 days ago I fell sick. We made an invasion of the southern area of the Cherethites, in the territory which belongs to Judah, and of the southern area of Caleb, and we burnt Ziklag with fire. And David said unto him, Can you take me down to this troop? So he said, Swear to me by God that you will neither kill me nor deliver me into the hand of my master, and I will take you down to this troop. And when he had brought him down, there they were spread out over all the land, eating and drinking, because of all the great spoil which they had taken from the land of the Philistines and from the land of Judah. Then David attacked them from twilight until the evening of the next day. Not a man of them except 400 young men who rode on camels and fled. So David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away, and David rescued his 2 wives, and nothing of theirs was lacking, either small or great, sons or daughters, spoil or anything which they had taken from them. David recovered all. Then David took all the flocks and the hens they had driven before those other livestock, and said, This is David's spoil. Now David came to the 200 men who had been so weary that they could not follow, when they also made the stay at the brook Besor. So they went to meet David and to meet the people who were with them. And when David came near the people, he greeted them. Bwana asifiwe. Tunaona David alikuwa na every reason ya kukuwa discouraged. Hapa in chapter 29 amefukuzwa kutoka vita. And we see in most of the wars, when they go to war, they came back with spoils. Yani kwenda vita ilikuwa ni kama faida kwao. Walikuja na mali, na ngombe. Yani in many war, when they went and won, they came back with goodies. Bwana asifiwe. But here, halfway to the war, Apek anasema hatuwezi enda na huyu Daudi. Tutajuaje kama atatupinduka na ungane na Saul? Na the other king anamwambia, David has been with us this long, and he has been learning from Saul. Na amesoea his allegiance to me, but akakataa na akafukuzwa. So he's coming back to Ziklag, a discouraged man. Amefukuzwa kutoka kwenda kwa vita. Arriving at Ziklag, anakuta more discouragement. Ziklag has been burned down with fire. His wives has been taken captive. And ni discouragement after discouragement. But see what David did. David inquired of the Lord. And the Lord told him, pursue, you overtake. Now unaona, if you read to the end ya hiyo verse, unaona alirecover mpaka vitu the Amalekites walikuwa wamekonga from other people. So unaona walikuwa wametoka ku attack the Philistines. So vitu zile walikuwa wamekonga kutoka kwa Wafilisti. Vitu zile walikuwa wamebeba kutoka Zigra. David alirecover all. Wanasema hakuna hata mtu mmoja alikuwa amekufa. So inaweza kuwa that in your lowest moment the God come and restores you back. Si ile tu uliokuwa nayo. When the Lord comes to restore you, restoration tunaambiwa si ile tu ambayo ulikuwa nayo, you get double. Unaona in the case of Job, when Job was restored, hakupata tu ile alikuwa nayo, it is double. Na Biblia inasema double for your trouble. Yani instead of shame, double honor. Yani hiyo ambao shetani alikuwa amekusudia upitie this, the Lord says double for that. Bwana asifiwe. So usikubali kukua discouraged. Tumesema the season of a great catch is a season of another opportunity. Na unapopata that opportunity, unaitisha double for your trouble. Bwana asifiwe. So when you are in your lowest moment, the Lord is able to lift you and give you double for your trouble. Bwana asifiwe. So in this year, we are not allowing our enemies to rejoice over us. We are not allowing our past failure, our past mistake to dictate our experiences of this year. Bwana asifiwe. Nimewaambia hata kama mwaka imeenda, unasema first quarter imeisha. Tuliambiwa this month shall be the beginning of the year for you. So forget that experience. Yeah, hizo 3 months. Sema this month, I'm starting afresh. I am starting anew. I am rising again. Bwana asifiwe. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 11, from verse number 10, it is not about my experience or knowledge, but a word from the Master. The year of a great catch is not like any other year we have gone through, but a year of God's divine provision. Deuteronomy 11 from verse 10. For the land which you go to possess is not like the land of Egypt from which you have come, where you sowed your seed and watered it by foot as a vegetable garden. But the land which you cross over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of heaven. A land for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord your God are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the very end of the year. And it shall be that if you earnestly obey my commands, which I command you today, to love the Lord your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, then I will give you the rain for your land in its season, the early rain and the later rain, that you may gather in your grain, your new wine, and your oil. And I will send grass to your fields for your livestock, that you may eat and be filled. Take heed to yourself, lest your heart be deceived, and you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. Lest the Lord's anger be aroused against you, and he shut up the heavens so that there be no rain, and the land yield no produce, and you perish quickly from the good land which the Lord is giving you. Bwana asifiwe. So huu si kama ile miaka ingine. It is a year that anasema in Egypt you used your effort, you watered your garden with your feet. Nilikuwa naangalia from history. walisema walikuwa wanazita canoes, zilikuwa zinapampiwa na miguu ndio zipump maji from the ocean to the farm. Lakini the Lord is telling them in verse 12, a land for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord your God are always from it, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Yaani anasema sasa nitawatumia mvua from heaven. Bwana asifiwe. Si effort yako, it is the Lord who is caring. So in this year, it is not about our effort. It is not about our strength. It is not about our experience. It is our trust in the Lord. It is in obeying the word of the Lord. It is in serving him. Anasema, when you obey my voice and serve me. Na tunaona ndio Peter apate the great catch. The first thing he did, he served the Lord. Yesu alimwambia, nisongeshe hii boti yako kwa bahari kidogo. It was a service to the Lord. Unajua, I've not fished, but I've gone for swimming. Sometimes ukitoka kwa maji kuswim na umejikausha, mtu hata asikie kuguza maji tena ya swimming. Am I the only one? When you go to swim na umemalizana na swimming and you've changed your swimming costume, do you feel like you can go back to the water? Hata kama tu ndio ulikuwa umelipa swimming, kukanyesha ukatokelezea kwa maji. Just because you've showered, mtu asikiai kurudi kwa hii maji. So Peter is out of the boat, out of fishing, na ameanza kuosha neti. Akiosha neti ni kumaanisha amemalizana na hiyo. Haijalishi ni hasara ataenda ama ni nini, amemalizana na hiyo. But Jesus is coming here, telling him, nisukumie hii boti yako kwa bahari kidogo. Inamaanisha Yesu yeye hakutaka kushika maji. Yeye ameingia kwa boti na anamwambia nisikume because si hata yeye labda alikuwa na energy ya kujisukumia. So Peter had to use his effort again. Kurudi kwa ile maji ambayo alikuwa. So when we serve the Lord, he makes life easier for us. When we serve him, he will water our gardens from heaven above. Bwana asifiwe. Haitakuwa kwa effort zetu. Peter alipo serve the master, Yesu alipo maliza, Biblia inasema in the chapter number 5 ya Luke, verse 4, that when he had stopped speaking, sasa amemaliza huduma yake. Umemaliza kuhudumu, sasa ni wakati wako wa kuhudumiwa. Na Biblia in the book of Malachi 3:18 inasema, I will make a distinction between them that serve me and them that serve me not. So sahi ni kama Peter alipokuwa ametumikia Yesu, yeye aliona tu ni kumpe tu bota tumie, then I can continue cleaning my net. But little did he know, after serving the master had great things in store for him. Bwana asifiwe. So haijalishi umekuwa discouraged kiasi gani, haijalishi adui amefanya nini kwa maisha yako, usikubali kutotumikia the master. The worst thing the enemy can do is to discourage you mpaka uache kuserve. Anakuonyesha hii service. I like our prayer on Friday. The one alikuwa anatuongoza maombi alisoma Exodus chapter number 5. When Moses came, akasema Waisraeli waachiliwe waende. Pharaoh doubled their labor. Walikuwa wanapewa straw ya kumake bricks. Akasema wasipewe. So adui atajaribu everything. Atakudiscourage in any way. Hatatumia mtu wako huko nje. Atatumia mtu mnaserve na yeye kwa department. Na wewe utakwazika na ukae chini. Useme kwani tu ni kwa hiyo department. But when you serve the Lord, anasema he will give you rain. He will watch over your land throughout the year, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Bwana asifiwe. So usikubali kukua discouraged. Usikubali kukua anyone to hinder you from serving the Lord. Bwana asifiwe. Because in your service there is a reward. In the book of Proverbs, Biblia inasema that for every labor there is a reward. So haijalishi ni labor gani unafanya. Huenda kuwa unakuja hapa kazi yako ni kusweep the compound ama ni kuosha choo, na unasema hii kazi ya kuosha choo hata hakuna mwenye ananiona. Bishop ana appreciate mwenye anatengeneza maua, anasema maua imetengenezwa. Ana appreciate kwaya, anasema leo alikuwa smart sana. Na mimi nakuja huku kila Saturday. Hii compound hata hajaisema hajaona makaratasi. Siku ameona makaratasi ndio anasema the compound is very dirty. Yani na siku nimefagia hajaona. Siku nimefanya hii haijaonekana. Usikubali hiyo ikudiscourage. You serve the Lord and tell the Lord, Father, I know in your word you say there is a labor, there is a reward for every labor. So usiponugunika, you will get that reward. But when you serve kuonekana, when you serve ndio uappreciatiwe. Bishop anatuambia tukikupigia makofi, you've already gotten your reward. So look unto the Lord, ambaye anasema that when you serve him diligently, he will watch over your land. He will watch over you throughout the year. Bwana asifiwe. So in this year, I know tutaserve Mungu like never before. Hatutakubali any discouragement ituhinde from serving. Ndio, as human being, sometimes we'll be discouraged. So unaona Daudi amekuwa discouraged. But even in his discouragement, I love David. He inquired of the Lord, shall I pursue? Shall I overtake? Na Mungu akamwambia, pursue, overtake. Na hii mwaka tumeambiwa is a year of a great catch. So wewe shikilia hapo. Daudi alipo pursue, hakuwa anajua atawapata wapi. But the Lord had ordained a divine helper. Huyu kijana aliachwa akiwa mgonjwa, wakakuja wakamlisha na akadawa direct. The Lord will ordain a divine helper for you when you serve him, when you follow his steps. Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe. So sisi tutamtumikia Mungu. Haijalishi nimekuwa ngumu kiasi gani. Haijalishi imekuwa kiaje, but who serve the Lord. Unaona Peter alipopata the great catch in Luke 5, I think verse 6. Luke 5 verse 6. And when they has done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their net was breaking. Verse 7. So they signaled to their partners in other boats to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so that they began to sink. So in this year of great catch tu si yako peke yako, even your partners, wale walikuwa wametoil now, even your family. Tunaambiagwa sisi ndio the spell breakers of our family. So when you break that spell, hao ambao walikuwa wamekudespise, hao ambao walikuwa ni kama wamekudhihaki, they will come and celebrate what the Lord has done. When you read in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter number 17, verse 55 to 58. 1 Samuel 17. When Saul saw David going out against the Philistine, he said to Abner, the commander of the army, Abner, whose son is this youth? And Abner said, as your soul lives, O king, I do not know. So the king said, inquire whose son this young man is. Then as David returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul with the head of the Philistine in his hand. And Saul said to him, whose son are you, young man? So David answered, I am the son of your servant Jesse the Bethlehemite. Bwana asifiwe. Unaona, when you get great catch, hata walio kudespise. In the 1 Samuel 17, Saul inquire, whose son is this? Who is this young man? To me, when I was reading here, nilikuwa naona ikikaa ni kama mockery. Because when you read in the previous chapter, Daudi there was a time alikuwa ameenda kwa Saul kumchezea kinanda when he was oppressed by an evil spirit. Na unaona Saul sending emissaries kwa baba ya Daudi akimwambia, let your son live with me and serve me. And ukisoma in the previous chapter, kuna mahali Biblia inasema that David was an arm bearer of Saul. Can someone be your arm bearer na hujui ni nani? So yani David hakuwa mtu before Saul. Yeye alikuwa ameona ni mtu wa kutuliza mapepo zangu, ni arm bearer. But when he kills Goliath, Saul sasa ana inquire, whose son is this? Bwana asifiwe. So when the Lord gives you a great catch, hao ambao walikuwa wamekudespise, hao walikuwa wamekumop, watauliza, who is this? Yani huyu ni nani? Ni connection gani yako nayo? Bwana asifiwe. I remember one time my brother-in-law akashikwa na polisi. Alikuwa ameshikwa the previous day na wakachukua I think 30,000 of him. So the following day ameshikwa na hana makosa. Sasa akakuwa stubborn and akafanya ni amewachukua video because they had asked for some money. So alikuwa so bitter because of the money ya yesterday na alikuwa ameswear hata wapea another money. So alipowachukua video wakaanza kumuuliza, and whose son are you? Yani sasa vile aliwa confront. So yani yesterday alikuwa intimidated, but today because alikuwa anajua hana makosa, he knew his authority. So when we know our authority, when we know who we are in Christ, those who even have intimidators previously, they would like to be associated with us. So amekuwa ameintimidate Daudi. Yani Biblia inasema alikuwa mbeara wake, na hata hapa anauliza huyu ni kijana ya nani? Huyu ni nani? Because the Lord used David. So in this our year of great catch, where we've been mocked, pale kwa jamii zetu ambayo amekuwa hawajakurecognize. Yani hata wanaweza fanya kitu kwa familia na hujakuwa associated ama hujahusishwa. When the Lord gives you the great catch of this year, they will want to be associated with you. Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe. And for us to get our great catch, we must have a relationship with the Lord of the great catch. Even though Peter had not seen anyone catch fish during the day, he had seen Jesus heal through his word. The chapter number 4 inasema Yesu alipokuja kwa nyumba ya Peter, alikuwa ameheal the mother-in-law of Peter of fever, na the mother-in-law akawaserve. So huenda kuwa Peter hakuwa ameona mtu mwingine, hakuwa ameona miujiza ya kufish during the day, but he had an experience that at the word of Jesus, his mother-in-law had been healed. So here he is saying, I have toiled the whole night, but at your word. So inamaanisha Peter alikuwa na uhusiano na Yesu. Na unless you have a relationship with the master of the great catch, there is no way you are going to experience the great catch. So endeavor that throughout this year, you have a relationship with the master of the great catch. Bwana asifiwe. David also had seen God deliver him from the bear and the lion. And therefore, he had confidence that in this God who delivered me from the bear, this God who delivered me from the lion, will deliver me from this uncircumcised Philistine. Therefore, for you to know, for you to have that confidence of the great catch, huyu Mungu ambaye amekupigania, huyu Mungu ambaye amekuokoa, that confidence ya jana ndio utaride nayo to go to unknown territory. Bwana asifiwe. Daudi hakuwa amepigana vita yoyote. Hata anapokuja kupigana, Saul anaanza kwa kumwambia, this is an experienced man in war. He has been fighting since his youth. Na yeye anamwambia, when I was looking at the sheep of my father, a bear came, a lion came. So haijalishi hiyo shida imekuja na testimony inakaa aje. Haijalishi umeambiwa hiyo shida kwa jamii yenu imedumu muda gani, sema huyu Yesu ambaye amenipigania, huyu Yesu ambaye amekuwa nami kwa hii, yeye tu ndiye atakuwa nami na atanideliver kwa hii, in Jesus mighty name. Bwana asifiwe. God can use anything or anyone for me to receive my great catch, for his word to be fulfilled. God can use anything or anyone for me to receive my great catch and for his word to be fulfilled. In the book of 2 Kings, chapter number 7, these are the four lepers. The prophet ametangaza. 2 Kings chapter number 7 from verse 1. Then Elisha said, hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord, tomorrow about this time, a seah of fine flour shall be sold for a shekel, and 2 seahs of barley for a shekel at the gate of Samaria. So an officer on whose hand the king leaned answered the man of God and said, look, if the Lord will make widows in heaven, could this thing be? And he said, in fact, you shall see it with your eyes, but you shall not eat of it. Now there were 4 leprous men at the entrance of the gate and they said to one another, why are we sitting here until we die? If we say we enter the city, the famine is in the city, and we shall die there. And if we sit here, we die also. Now therefore, come, let us surrender to the army of the Syrian. If they keep us alive, we shall live. And if they kill us, we shall only die. And they rose at the twilight to go to the camp of the Syrians. And when they had come to the outskirts of the Syrian camp, to their surprise, no one was there. For the Lord had caused the army of the Syrian to hear the noise of the chariots, and the noise of horses, and the noise of great army. So they said to another, look, the king of Israel has hired against us the kings of the Hittites and the kings of the Egyptians to attack us. Bwana asifiwe. So for the Lord to give you the great catch, he can use anything or anyone. Hawa ni 4 lepers. Walikuwa despised. Walikuwa wanakaa outside the city. But the prophet has declared a word that tomorrow a barrel of flour itaikuwa inauzwa hii pesa. Na hata the man who inasema the man in whose king the right hand leaned. Yani kama ni alikuwa the PA wa the king. Akasema hata Mungu akifungua madirisha ya mbinguni hii haiwezekani. But because the prophet had released a word, the Lord had used 4 leprous men. Bwana asifiwe. So in that your situation, because the prophet has released a word, haijalishi nini hiyo itatumiwa, haijalishi ni akina nani hao hawatatumiwa, the Lord can use anything or anyone for you to get your great catch. Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe. So usiangalie that what he will use. Huyu the servant of the king. Yeye alikuwa anaona tu madirisha ya mbinguni kufunguliwa. Labda alikuwa amesikia kuhusu maana. Akasikia Mungu kuna siku alinyeshesha food from mbinguni. So him in his mind he was like labda tu zinyeshe. Na hata zikinyesha hazitatosha. But God had another thing in store. Alikuwa ametengeneza the Philistine ile yenye ambao walikuwa wameencamp nayo kutesa the city of Samaria is that which was used for their rescue. Bwana asifiwe. Our God gives another chance so that we can emerge victorious from our past failures. Proverbs 24:16. Proverbs 24:16. For a righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again, but the wicked shall fall by calamity. Bwana asifiwe. A righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again, but the wicked shall fall for calamity. So haijalishi umeanguka mara ngapi, unainuka tena. In the book of Job, chapter number 14, 7-9 inasema, For there is hope for a tree, if it is cut down, that it will sprout again, and that its tender shoots will not cease. Though its root may grow old in the earth, and its stump may die in the ground, yet at the scent of water it will bud and bring forth branches like a plant. Bwana asifiwe. There is hope. So in this season, the season of a great cut is a season of rising up again. That even though we have achieved nothing in the previous year, our miracles shall manifest because we are rising again. Bwana asifiwe. Kuna tumaini. Na mara mingi Bishop anatuambia neno la Mungu ni maji. So when you receive the word of the Lord, it is water that will water you to rise again, that will water you to sprout again. Because of the word of the Lord in our lives, we are receiving the grace and the strength to rise again. Bwana asifiwe. Tunapokea nguvu ya kuinuka tena. Haijarishi ni mara ngapi tumeanguka, but we are rising again. A righteous man may fall 7 times, lakini atainuka tena. Na Biblia inasema, rejoice not over me, O my enemies, for when I fall, I shall rise again. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be my light. So the Lord is your light. Even in that darkness, the Lord shall be your light. My responsibility in the great catch. My responsibility in the great catch. In this great catch, we have our responsibility. And our first responsibility is obedience. Our responsibility in the great catch. Number 1, obedience. In the book of Luke 5:5, Peter obeyed and put down the nets. But Simeon answered and said to him, Master, we have toiled all night and caught nothing. Nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net. So Peter obeyed the word. Hata kama alikuwa na ati, finally he obeyed. So sometimes utapata instruction kwa Mungu na hazi make sense. Peter alijua huwa hatufishi mchana. Yani fishing is done at night. Lakini alisema at your word. Na alikuwa ameng'ang'ana. Hata in another version inasema we've toiled. Yani tumeng'ang'ana. We've done our best throughout this night. But at your word. So haijarishi umeng'ang'ana kiasi gani. Haijarishi umeng'ang'ana kwa hiyo biashara kiasi gani. Haijarishi, nimewaambia hata kama ulifunga. Sometimes in 2017, I had a business. Nilikuwa nauza manguo pale sokoni. Then in 2017, nikakuwa nimeifunga the whole of 2017 and 2018. So 2019, ninasikia nirudie ile biashara. It was a struggle. Hata my husband was not for the idea. But the Lord alini-impress nirudie ile biashara. Unaona sasa nilikuwa nimepeana my stall. Yani ni kama nilikuwa nimeachana nayo kabisa. Because when I was leaving the business, I was so discouraged. Yani haikuwa ni ile unakaa nyumbani unaambia Mungu ni unipe kitu ingine ya kufanya. And true to his word, in the year 2017, nikapata job ya catering. I had hosted some people in Nakuru. So I used to do catering for them the 2017 and some part of 2018. So wamerudi kwao India, they were Indians. And I'm here. Sasa naambia Mungu, si unipe pesa ya restaurant. I'm so passionate about catering. I just napenda catering. So I bargained with God. Si unipe pesa ya restaurant ama ni hata my sons wananiambia na si ufungue nguo bakery. So mimi kwangu nasikia ni kama confirmation. Sinaweza fungua bakery. And I tried. Nikatafuta duka. I did things. But within me ninasikia Mungu ananiambia rudia ile biashara. And because when I left, ni unajua ile unajichochaga mpaka umetangazia. Hata mwenye niliachia nguo nilimwambia kwa soko sirudi tena. So nikimwachia nguo I was so I'm here, the Lord is blessing in me. Nirudi kwa biashara ya nguo, and I was like ni kama nimeosha neti. I'm done and dusted with the business. And because my mom does the same business, ni ile sasa tunaji-encourage na my husband, tunajiambia hii ni pattern ya family. In my family wanauza manguo, my two aunts and my mom. So naambia hii ni kufuata the trend ya family. Lakini within me ninasikia hapana, Rose, this business, and that business when it started, it was in a Bible study. Mambeth ni alikuwa anahubiri. Tulikuwa church ilikuwa kidogo, ni ile tulikuwa tunakaa up to this. Ile tulikuwa tunaingilia pale. So I had come for a Bible study, and I had stayed. After I got married, nilikuwa nimeacha job, so I had stayed in the house for almost a year end. And she declared to me, and within that week nikapata the pesa ya hiyo biashara. Sasa unaona imefika mahali nimeiacha. It was a struggle going back. But yesterday when I was looking at what the Lord has done, ni ukweli mara mingi sijakuwa kwa hiyo biashara, but what the Lord has done, hata kama sijakuwa pale, He has provided a way for me. Nimepata jobs za catering. I've catered for people even in houses, and still this biashara imekuwa ikilan. But initially nilikuwa nimebagain na Mungu. Ambia Mungu, nilikuambia I've done business administration. Ambia sasa hii ni wakati wa hii makaratasi. Si unajua January tulipokuja kudeclare, there was even a day we came with our papers. So naambia Mungu, sasa nilikuambia hii ni wakati wa hii makaratasi yangu ifanye kazi, si kurudi kwa hii biashara. Yani nifanye, unajua those jobs za management. So I was speaking. Lakini he was telling me, si lazima nikuwe pale permanently, and sure to his word. If I count the times I've been in that business, ni kidogo. But the business has been running, and the Lord has been faithful. So usingangane na Mungu kwa vitu zingine. Be obedient, obey his word, and he will make a way. Bwana asifiwe. This year nimefanya caterings, hata kama si mingi, but the Lord has provided. Unapata job, and the business ya manguo bado inaendelea. Bwana asifiwe. Lakini kama ningesema tu hapana, sasa hii nilikuambia, unajua kuna vile tunabagain na Mungu, naambia hapana, nilikuambia sasa ni lazima ikue hii ama ni lazima ikue hii. In the book of John, chapter number 2, verse 4. Hapa ni pale pa wine, when Jesus went to a wedding. So John chapter number 2, verse 4. Jesus said to her, "Woman, what does your concern have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servant, "Whatever he says to you, do it." Now there were set there 6 water pots of stone, according to the manner of purification of the Jews, containing 20 or 30 gallons apiece. Jesus said to them, "Fill the water pots with water," and they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, "Draw some out now, and take it to the master of the feast." And they took it. When the master of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and did not know where it came, but the servants who had drawn the water knew, the master of the feast called to the bridegroom. And he said to him, every man at the beginning sets out the good wine, and when the guests have well drunk, then the inferior. You have kept the good wine until now. Bwana asifiwe. Unaona mama Yesu anawaambia, whatever he says to you, do it. Hata kama Yesu alikuwa amemwambia, my time has not yet come. Yeye alijua, mama Yesu alijua, he will release a word. Na tunaona hapa walipo obey, they were able to get wine. Bwana asifiwe. In the book of Genesis, chapter number 26, from verse 1. Isaac is told not to go down to Egypt when there was famine like his father did. And the Lord blesses him because when he plants in dry season, Mungu anamwambia, there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. Then the Lord appeared to him and said, do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land of which I shall tell you. Dwell in this land, and I'll be with you and bless you. For you and your descendants, I'll give all the lands, and I will perform the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. And I will make your descendants multiply as the stars of heaven, and I will give to your descendants all the lands. In your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Verse 12, because of the time. Then Isaac sowed in the land and lived in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. Bwana asifiwe. Tunaona Isaac aliambiwa asiende Egypt kama baba yake, akaambiwa kaa huko na nitakubariki. Na tunaona in that year of famine, verse 12, Isaac sowed and reaped 100-fold. So when we obey the word of the Lord, haijalishi circumstances zinakaa aje, haijalishi hali iko aje, the only thing we are required to do is to obey. Isaac anatii, na hata anapokaa pale yeye anapanda. And I don't remember that year, tuliambiwa the Lord will water us from underground. Our mom was preaching akasema, this year the Lord is watering us from underground. Yani kama tu vile aliwater the plants za Isaac from underground, the Lord will water us from underground. And true to the word, that year, the things the Lord did in my life, ilikuwa kukua watered from underground. So haijalishi how your situation look, obey the instruction of the Lord. Obey the word of the Lord, and you shall reap the reward of your obedience. Bwana asifiwe. So our first responsibility tumeona ni kukua obedient to the word of the Lord. Because of our time tutafika hapo, and I pray and trust that whatever the Lord tells you, no matter how crazy inakaa, because Peter going back to fish during the day, ilikuwa inakaa crazy. Isaac planting during the famine, it also looked crazy. But obey the word of the Lord. Kuchotea watu water instead of wine, it is not a thing ya kawaida. So this year, for you to experience the great catch, be ready to obey instruction ambazo hata hauelewi. Unaambia Mungu, ni kweli hapa huenda sielewi, lakini Bwana, because of your word, at your word, I shall do it, and we shall encounter our great catch in Jesus' mighty name. We have come to the end of our Bible study. Thank you for coming. May the Lord bless you. If you've been following us online and you've not given your life to Christ, and you would like to give your life to Christ, tumeona for you to experience this great catch, you must have a relationship with Christ. Na huwezi kuwa na relationship with Jesus until you tell him to be the Lord of your life. So you are there, you are not born again, na ungetaka kupeana maisha yako kwa Yesu, can repeat after me. Lord Jesus, I come to you. I have realized I am a sinner. Write my name in the book of life. From today, I give my life to you. Lead me and direct me in Jesus' mighty name. So if you've given your life to Christ, you can contact us through the numbers on the screen, and we shall attend to you. And for us in the service, tutasimama tupate benediction. Ama kuna mtu hajaokoka miongoni mwetu, you've not known Christ, you've not given Christ, hujajuana na huyu Yesu, na he died for us to set us free. Is there anyone ambao hujapeana maisha yako kwa Yesu? It is an opportunity to give him your life. Kama hakuna, we shall rise up, we get our benediction, then after that we shall praise our seed on the altar, and we shall be blessed. With the hearts lifted up and a smile, may you walk with the revelation that you've received today, that the season of the great catch is a season of a new beginning, that it is another opportunity the Lord has given you to rise again, that he is turning your mourning into dancing. This is a new morning for you. This month is a beginning of the year for you. You shall dance. The Lord will fill your mouth with laughter. In Jesus' mighty name, you are blessed.